The Stoic Code: 12 things a high-value man never does with a woman. Welcome to the realm of Stoic Monarch, a sanctuary where we embark on a transformative journey to unlock our highest potential through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. In today's exploration, we delve into a critical domain for every man aspiring to embody high value: the 12 unwavering principles that guide his interactions with women. These insights, drawn from the depths of Stoic philosophy, will empower you to maintain your inner strength, preserve your independence, and cultivate relationships that are firmly rooted in mutual respect and genuine admiration. If you're prepared to transcend the common pitfalls that ensnare so many men and safeguard your powerful persona, you've arrived at the right destination. The path to becoming a high-value man is not paved with fleeting moments of triumph or the superficial allure of transient passions. Instead, it demands a profound mastery of oneself, a steadfast commitment to virtue, and an unwavering adherence to principles that transcend the shifting sands of societal expectations. This journey requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world around us. It is a path that demands constant self-reflection, a willingness to challenge our own assumptions, and a commitment to living in accordance with our highest values. In the silent and unyielding chambers of our minds, where virtue wages an eternal battle against vice, we confront a fundamental truth. To be a man of genuine value is to first and foremost master oneself. It is not the fleeting applause of others, nor the intoxicating allure of transient passion that ultimately determines our worth. Instead, it is our unwavering ability to govern our own thoughts, actions, and emotions that truly sets us apart from the masses. This is the essence of Stoic self-mastery, the ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity, to maintain composure in the midst of chaos, and to live in accordance with our values, regardless of external circumstances. Together, we shall explore the unwavering code that a high-value man, guided by the enduring principles of Stoic philosophy, should never violate when navigating the intricate landscape of relationships with women. These are not mere rules or guidelines. They are fundamental principles that define his character, shape his actions, and ultimately determine the quality of his relationships. By adhering to these principles, he not only safeguards his own well-being, but also cultivates an environment where genuine connection, mutual respect, and lasting love can flourish. This is the essence of a Stoic relationship, a commitment to building relationships that are based on virtue, reason, and a shared pursuit of the good life. Let us embark on this transformative journey together and unlock the secrets to becoming a high-value man in the truest sense of the word. 1. Never sacrifice your values. The unwavering foundation of integrity. A high-value man stands unyielding in his principles, an unwavering beacon of integrity in a world often tempted by compromise. No matter how powerful the allure or how persuasive the pressure, he refuses to relinquish the core values that define his character and guide his actions. In Stoicism, living in accordance with one's values is not merely a desirable trait. It is the very foundation upon which strength of character and a life of virtue are built. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, eloquently stated, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This serves as a potent and enduring reminder that integrity must be the unwavering compass that guides our every action and interaction. It is the North Star that keeps us on course, even when the storms of life threaten to knock us off our feet. When a man compromises his values in an attempt to please others, he embarks on a perilous path that inevitably leads to the erosion of his sense of self. He risks losing sight of who he truly is, what he believes in, and what he stands for. It's easy to become ensnared in the trap of seeking external validation, especially within the context of relationships. The desire to impress, to be liked, to be accepted can be incredibly powerful, leading us to make compromises that we later regret. But a high-value man understands that true respect the kind that endures and deepens over time, comes not from sacrificing one's principles, but from standing firmly by what one believes in, even when it's difficult or unpopular. It's the ability to say no when everyone else is saying yes, to hold one's ground when the pressure to conform is overwhelming, and to stay true to one's inner compass, regardless of the external forces that seek to sway us. This unwavering commitment to one's values is not a sign of rigidity or stubbornness. It is a testament to the strength of one's character and the depth of one's self-respect. Compromising on core values for the sake of acceptance, for the fleeting pleasure of approval, can ultimately lead to resentment and profound dissatisfaction in the long run. The initial gratification of pleasing someone else quickly fades, replaced by the nagging sense that one has betrayed oneself, that one has sacrificed something essential for something ultimately meaningless. While healthy relationships are undoubtedly built on understanding, compromise, and a willingness to accommodate each other's needs, there are inviolable limits to what a high-value man should ever be willing to sacrifice. His boundaries, clearly defined and consistently maintained, are not arbitrary walls erected to keep others out. They're the essential perimeter that defines his sense of self-respect and protects his inner core. They represent the non-negotiable principles that govern his life, the values that he will never compromise, no matter the temptation or the pressure. When a man remains steadfastly loyal to his principles, he radiates an aura of quiet confidence that is both compelling and admirable. Others are far more likely to respect him, trust him, and value his presence in their lives. They recognize that he is a man of his word, a man who can be counted on to stand up for what he believes in, and a man who will never compromise his integrity for personal gain or fleeting approval. Ultimately, the key to maintaining one's values lies in self-reliance, a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. As the Stoics so wisely taught, the only thing we truly have control over is our own mind and our own actions. Everything else, the opinions of others, the vicissitudes of fortune, the fleeting pleasures of life, is external and ultimately beyond our control. Therefore, we must focus our energy on cultivating inner strength, on developing our character, and on living in accordance with our values, regardless of the external circumstances that surround us. Never lose sight of your inner values, for they're the true markers of your strength and your personal worth. They are the foundation upon which you build a life of meaning, purpose, and lasting fulfillment. Compromise them, and you risk losing everything. 2. Never seek validation from her, the wellspring of inner worth. Stoicism, in its profound wisdom, teaches us that true and lasting validation must originate from within, from the depths of our own self-understanding and self-acceptance, and not from external sources, which are inherently fickle and unreliable. A high-value man internalizes this fundamental truth, understanding that his worth is not contingent upon the approval or admiration of others, including women. He recognizes that seeking validation externally, particularly within the context of relationships, is a dangerous trap that can lead to insecurity, dependence, and ultimately, the erosion of his sense of self. Instead, a Stoic man channels his energy into self-growth, the continuous and deliberate cultivation of his character, the pursuit of knowledge, and the development of his skills. He understands that true fulfillment comes not from seeking external approval, but from striving to become the best version of himself, from living in accordance with his values, and from making a meaningful contribution to the world. As Stoicism emphasizes, the only control we truly have is over our own thoughts and actions. We cannot control the opinions of others, the circumstances of our lives, or the unpredictable nature of the world around us. But we can control how we respond to these external forces, how we choose to think, and how we choose to act. A high-value man understands this principle implicitly. He doesn't need constant reassurance from a woman to feel secure in his own worth. His confidence springs from his inner understanding of who he is, what he stands for, and what he is capable of achieving. This self-reliance is the bedrock upon which strong and healthy relationships are built because it removes the corrosive pressure of seeking validation from the other person. When a man is truly content with himself, when he finds joy and fulfillment in his own pursuits, he is free from the emotional instability that inevitably accompanies the constant need for external approval. He is no longer dependent on someone else's opinion to feel worthy, to feel loved, or to feel accepted. He understands that his worth is inherent, not something that must be earned or validated by others. Focus on your own growth, on becoming the best version of yourself. And the right people, those who genuinely appreciate and admire you for who you are, will naturally be drawn to you, without the need for constant affirmation or manipulative tactics. They will be attracted to your strength, your confidence, and your unwavering commitment to living a life of purpose and meaning. They will recognize that you are a man of value, not because you seek their approval, but because you embody the qualities that they admire. This approach to relationships is not about being aloof or indifferent. It's about cultivating a healthy sense of self-worth that allows you to engage with others from a place of strength and abundance, rather than from a place of need and desperation. It's about understanding that you are already complete, that you don't need someone else to fill a void or to make you feel worthy. When you approach relationships from this perspective, you are free to be yourself, to be authentic, and to connect with others on a deeper level. 3. Never neglect your purpose for her, the beacon of a meaningful life. Your purpose and mission in life, the driving force that propels you forward and gives meaning to your existence, should always be your primary focus, the unwavering North Star that guides your decisions and actions. In Stoicism, personal fulfillment and the relentless pursuit of one's goals are not merely desirable outcomes. They are central to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. They are the means by which we cultivate our character, develop our skills, and make a meaningful contribution to the world. As Seneca wisely stated, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. This highlights the importance of courage, perseverance, and unwavering determination in the pursuit of our ambitions, regardless of the obstacles that may stand in our way. All too often, people allow the inevitable challenges and distractions of life, particularly those that arise within the context of relationships, to pull them away from their goals, to dim their inner fire, and to derail their progress. The allure of comfort, the fear of failure, the desire to please others, these can all conspire to keep us from pursuing our true purpose. A high-value man, however, remains steadfastly committed to his path, refusing to lose sight of his mission, regardless of the external pressures that may seek to divert him. He understands that his purpose is not something that he can delegate or outsource. It is an integral part of who he is, the driving force that gives his life meaning and direction. Relationships are undoubtedly important, a source of joy, connection, and mutual support. But they should never overshadow your life's mission, never become the sole focus of your existence, and never be allowed to eclipse the fire that burns within you. It's easy to become consumed by the emotional aspects of a relationship, to lose sight of your own goals and ambitions in the pursuit of pleasing your partner. But a Stoic man understands the critical need for balance, for maintaining a healthy perspective, and for prioritizing his own personal growth alongside his commitment to the relationship. He doesn't allow fleeting distractions, the siren song of immediate gratification, or the external pressures of societal expectations to deter him from what truly matters. The relentless pursuit of his purpose and the unwavering commitment to becoming the best version of himself. Staying focused on your goals requires discipline, a quality that sets a high-value man apart from the masses. It requires the ability to say no to distractions, to prioritize your time and energy, and to remain steadfast in your commitment, even when faced with setbacks and challenges. It requires a deep understanding of your own values, a clear vision of your goals, and an unwavering belief in your ability to achieve them. Remember, maintaining your purpose is not only vital for your own personal success and fulfillment, but also for fostering healthy and meaningful relationships that align with your values. A woman who truly values you will respect your ambition, support your goals, and encourage you to pursue your passions. She will understand that your purpose is an integral part of who you are, and she will not try to diminish or detract from it. In fact, she will be inspired by your commitment and your unwavering dedication to living a life of purpose and meaning. 4. Never react emotionally to manipulation. The citadel of inner composure. A high-value man cultivates an unwavering composure, remaining calm and centered even in the face of situations that are designed to evoke strong emotional responses. In Stoicism, emotional control is not merely a desirable trait. It is a fundamental virtue, the key to unlocking wisdom, clarity, and the ability to act with reason and purpose, regardless of the external circumstances. As Epictetus so wisely stated, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This profound statement serves as a constant reminder that while we cannot always control the actions of others, the circumstances of our lives, or the inevitable challenges that we will face, we can always control our own responses, our own thoughts, and our own emotions. A high-value man understands this principle implicitly. He does not allow a woman's words, actions, or manipulative tactics to dictate his emotional state, to hijack his rational mind, or to compromise his composure. When faced with conflict, provocation, or attempts at emotional manipulation, reacting impulsively, allowing emotions to run unchecked, can lead to regret, poor decision-making, and a significant loss of control. Instead, a Stoic man takes a deliberate step back, creating a space between the stimulus and his response. He analyzes the situation with a cool and detached perspective, seeking to understand the underlying motives and the potential consequences of his actions. He responds with reason, with logic, and with a calm and measured demeanor, refusing to be drawn into the emotional maelstrom. He understands that emotional outbursts, regardless of their justification, ultimately weaken his position, cloud his judgment, and give others power over him. By staying grounded, maintaining his focus on logic and reason, he preserves his dignity, avoids being swayed by external forces, and ultimately makes better decisions that are aligned with his values and his long-term goals. This emotional resilience, this unwavering ability to remain calm in the face of adversity, not only strengthens his character and enhances his inner peace, but also earns him the respect and admiration of others. They recognize that he is not easily shaken, that he is not prone to emotional outbursts, and that he can be relied upon to remain steady and composed, even when those around him are losing their heads. 5. Never prioritize her over your well-being. The sacred duty of self-care. Sacrificing your own well-being, your own mental, emotional, and physical health, for the sake of a relationship, no matter how passionate or promising it may seem, will inevitably lead to resentment, burnout, and a profound sense of weakness. In Stoicism, maintaining balance, practicing self-care, and prioritizing one's own well-being are not selfish acts. They are essential components of living a virtuous and fulfilling life. They are the foundation upon which we build our strength, our resilience, and our ability to contribute to the world in a meaningful way. When you consistently prioritize someone else's needs, desires, and expectations over your own, you begin to erode your sense of self-worth, to diminish your inner fire, and to lose sight of what truly matters to you. You become a mere shadow of your former self, sacrificing your own happiness and fulfillment in the misguided belief that this is what love requires. Relationships that are built on self-sacrifice, on the persistent neglect of one's own well-being, are ultimately unsustainable and can lead to profound internal conflict. The resentment that simmers beneath the surface will eventually erupt, poisoning the relationship and leaving both partners feeling unfulfilled and unhappy. Remember, you can only be your best self for others. You can only offer genuine love and support if you are first taking care of yourself, if you are prioritizing your own mental, emotional, and physical health. This doesn't mean being selfish, neglecting the needs of your partner, or prioritizing your own desires above all else. It means understanding that your own well-being is the foundation upon which a healthy and fulfilling relationship is built, and that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Self-respect, the unwavering belief in your own worth, and the commitment to treating yourself with kindness and compassion must always come before pleasing others. When you hold strong to your boundaries, when you prioritize your own needs, and when you make time for self-care activities that nourish your soul, you're in a much better position to offer genuine support, unconditional love, and unwavering commitment to your partner, without losing sight of who you are or compromising your own well-being. A high-value man understands that maintaining his own well-being is not a luxury. It is an essential responsibility, not only for his own happiness and fulfillment, but also for the strength and health of his relationships. 6. Never allow her to disrespect you. The unyielding defense of dignity. A high-value man never tolerates disrespect in any form, understanding that his dignity and self-worth are non-negotiable aspects of his being. They are the essential foundation upon which his character is built, and he will not allow anyone, regardless of their relationship to him, to diminish or undermine them. Boundaries, clearly defined and consistently enforced, are essential tools in maintaining self-respect and safeguarding one's dignity. A Stoic man understands this principle implicitly, knowing when it is time to walk away from situations, relationships, or interactions that compromise his values or subject him to disrespect. He recognizes that tolerating disrespect is not a sign of strength or compassion. It is a sign of weakness, a tacit endorsement of unacceptable behavior, and an invitation for further harm. Marcus Aurelius, in his profound wisdom, stated, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This reflects the core Stoic belief that true strength lies not in retaliation, in seeking to inflict pain on those who have wronged us, but in maintaining our own moral character, in refusing to stoop to their level, and in embodying the virtues that they so clearly lack. Allowing disrespect to permeate your life, whether it comes in the form of verbal abuse, emotional manipulation, or physical violence, diminishes your self-respect, erodes your confidence, and invites further harm. It sends a clear message to others that it is acceptable to treat you poorly, to disregard your feelings, and to violate your boundaries. Instead, a high-value man holds firm to his boundaries, understanding that by demanding respect, he is not only protecting himself, but also strengthening his own character and cultivating healthier relationships that are built on mutual understanding and appreciation. Walking away from those who disrespect you, whether it is a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner, is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is a powerful assertion of your own value, a clear declaration that you will not tolerate being treated poorly, and a commitment to surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Don't lower yourself by engaging in toxic behavior, by retaliating in kind, or by allowing others to devalue you. A high-value man upholds his principles, demands respect in return, and walks away from any situation that compromises his dignity or threatens his well-being. 7. Never be overly attached. The art of emotional independence. Attachment, the intense emotional connection to external things, circumstances, or people, inevitably creates suffering, as the Stoics have long warned. This is because attachment ties our happiness and sense of well-being to factors that are ultimately beyond our control. The more attached we are to something, the more vulnerable we become to the pain of loss, the anxiety of uncertainty, and the disappointment of unmet expectations. A high-value man, guided by the wisdom of Stoicism, practices detachment, cultivating a healthy distance from external things, and recognizing that nothing in life is permanent, that everything is subject to change, and that people will inevitably come and go from our lives. This mindset, rooted in the acceptance of impermanence, helps him avoid unnecessary suffering when relationships change, when circumstances shift, or when life throws him unexpected curveballs. In Stoicism, emotional independence, the ability to find inner peace and contentment regardless of external circumstances, is the key to maintaining stability, resilience, and a sense of freedom. It is the understanding that our happiness does not depend on external things, that it springs from within, from our own character, our own actions, and our own thoughts. Epictetus, in his poignant reflection on the fleeting nature of life, reminded us, "You are a little soul carrying a corpse." This stark statement, though seemingly morbid, serves as a powerful reminder that everything we experience in life is temporary, subject to decay, and ultimately destined to pass away, including our relationships, our possessions, and our physical bodies. By cultivating inner strength, by focusing on what is within our control, our own thoughts, actions, and reactions, a Stoic man ensures that he remains resilient in the face of change, that he is not easily swayed by external forces, and that he can maintain his sense of peace and purpose, regardless of the circumstances that surround him. A high-value man does not become overly dependent on someone else's presence, attention, or approval for his sense of fulfillment or happiness. He understands that true strength comes from within, from his own self-reliance, his own self-respect, and his own commitment to living a life of virtue. By maintaining a healthy level of detachment, he protects himself from the emotional turmoil that often accompanies attachment, the anxiety of clinging to something that is ultimately destined to slip away. Practicing detachment does not mean rejecting relationships, avoiding intimacy, or becoming emotionally unavailable. It means engaging with others from a place of self-reliance, where your sense of worth is not tied to anyone else's presence or approval, where you can offer genuine love and support without sacrificing your own well-being, and where you can navigate the inevitable challenges of relationships with grace, composure, and emotional resilience. 8. Never engage in drama, the sanctuary of inner peace. Drama, with its swirling vortex of emotional turmoil, petty conflicts, and unnecessary complexities, is a profound waste of energy, a significant distraction from living a virtuous and fulfilling life. A high-value man, guided by the principles of Stoicism, avoids drama at all costs, recognizing it as a thief of time, a drain on his mental resources, and a serious impediment to his inner peace. In the Stoic philosophy, emotional disturbances, those internal storms that cloud our judgment and disrupt our equilibrium, are seen as significant distractions from living a virtuous and fulfilling life. They pull us away from our goals, cloud our judgment, and prevent us from acting with reason and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, in his timeless wisdom, reminds us to focus our attention on what we can control, and drama, with its unpredictable nature and its reliance on the actions of others, falls far outside the realm of our control. Engaging in unnecessary conflict, becoming embroiled in petty arguments, or allowing oneself to be drawn into emotional turbulence only serves to pull us away from our own goals, to deplete our mental and emotional reserves, and to disrupt the inner peace that is so essential for living a virtuous life. A high-value man understands that drama is a significant distraction from the clarity of mind and the steadiness of purpose that Stoicism promotes. Instead of getting caught up in arguments, engaging in gossip, or fueling unnecessary conflicts, he maintains his composure, focuses his attention on what truly matters, and refuses to be drawn into the emotional chaos that surrounds him. Refusing to get involved in needless drama protects his energy, safeguards his mental well-being, and allows him to direct his attention toward more meaningful pursuits, the pursuit of his goals, the cultivation of his character, and the strengthening of his relationships. Peace of mind, the ability to remain calm and centered in the face of external challenges, is an essential foundation for a Stoic. Avoiding drama, cultivating emotional detachment, and focusing on what is within our control are all essential components of achieving this inner peace and living a life of purpose and meaning. 9. Never chase her attention. The magnetism of self-assured presence. As the ancient saying so eloquently states, "What belongs to you will find you." A high-value man understands this principle deeply, not as a passive acceptance of fate, but as an active embodiment of self-worth and unwavering confidence. He doesn't desperately chase after what he desires, frantically seeking approval or validation. Instead, he cultivates an inner magnetism, attracting what is meant for him through his presence, his character, and his unwavering commitment to living a life of purpose and meaning. This mindset allows him to approach relationships with authenticity and genuine confidence, avoiding the pitfalls of desperation, neediness, and manipulative tactics. Constantly seeking a woman's attention, vying for her approval, or trying to impress her with superficial displays of wealth or status can only lead to insecurity, unhealthy relationship dynamics, and ultimately, a diminished sense of self-worth. It sends a clear message that you are insecure, that you are dependent on her validation to feel good about yourself, and that you lack the inner confidence to stand on your own 2 feet. A high-value man remains grounded in his own sense of self-assurance, knowing that true attraction springs from being genuine, authentic, and confident in who he is. He understands that his worth is not defined by external validation, by the opinions of others, or by the superficial trappings of success. It is defined by his actions, by the way he lives his life, and by the qualities of character that he embodies. By letting his actions speak for themselves, by consistently demonstrating integrity, kindness, and resilience, he naturally draws others to him, creating an environment where meaningful connections can flourish, built on mutual respect, genuine interest, and a shared commitment to living a life of purpose and meaning. He cultivates qualities that are inherently attractive, not because he is trying to impress someone, but because he is striving to become the best version of himself. Ultimately, a high-value man knows that what is truly meant for him will come to him in due time, without the need for frantic chasing or desperate pleas. He focuses his energy on becoming the best version of himself, on cultivating his inner strength, and on living a life of purpose and meaning, trusting that the right people and the right opportunities will align themselves with his path. 10. Never allow your emotions to control you. The reign of reason. In the intricate tapestry of relationships, emotions often surge with an intensity that can challenge our composure and test the limits of our self-control. The highs can be intoxicating, the lows can be devastating, and the constant fluctuations can leave us feeling emotionally exhausted and vulnerable. However, a Stoic man, guided by the principles of reason and self-mastery, remains steady and composed amidst this emotional turbulence, understanding the critical importance of emotional regulation in maintaining his inner peace and fostering healthy relationships. As Epictetus, the sage of Stoicism, so wisely stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This profound declaration underscores the essence of Stoic philosophy, that true freedom comes not from external circumstances, but from internal mastery of one's own thoughts, emotions, and actions. A high-value man knows the profound significance of keeping his emotions in check, of not allowing himself to be swept away by the tides of anger, jealousy, or neediness. He understands that allowing himself to be governed by these unchecked emotions can lead to destructive outcomes, both for himself and for his relationships. It can cloud his judgment, impair his decision-making, and lead him to act in ways that he later regrets. Instead of reacting impulsively, allowing his emotions to dictate his behavior, he takes a deliberate step back, creating a space between the stimulus and his response. He assesses his feelings with objectivity, seeking to understand their root causes and their potential consequences. He ensures that his actions are aligned with his values, guided by reason and not by the fleeting whims of his emotions. By practicing emotional resilience, by cultivating the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of emotional challenges, a Stoic man fosters healthier interactions, creates a more stable environment for himself and others, and builds relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. This approach not only enhances his own well-being, protecting him from the destructive forces of unchecked emotions, but also earns him the respect and admiration of those around him, who recognize his strength, his composure, and his unwavering commitment to reason. Ultimately, mastering one's emotions is a hallmark of true strength and maturity, allowing for deeper, more meaningful connections in relationships, and fostering a life of inner peace and unwavering purpose. 11. Never overcommit to please her. The fortress of personal boundaries. Committing beyond your limits, stretching yourself too thin, or compromising your own values in an attempt to please someone else is a significant mistake, a subtle form of self-betrayal that can erode your sense of worth and leave you feeling resentful and depleted. A high-value man recognizes his priorities, understands his own limitations, and remains steadfast in his decisions, refusing to overextend himself or to sacrifice his own well-being for the sake of external approval. He understands that true respect in relationships is built on mutual understanding, on a clear and honest communication of needs and expectations, and on a willingness to honor each other's boundaries. It's crucial to cultivate the ability to say no without guilt or apology, to resist the pressure to overcommit, and to refuse to allow anyone to guilt-trip you into doing things that don't align with your values, your priorities, or your capacity. This doesn't mean being inflexible or unwilling to compromise. It means understanding your own limitations and setting healthy boundaries that protect your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being. A high-value man communicates his boundaries clearly and assertively, knowing that true respect in relationships comes from mutual understanding and a willingness to honor each other's needs. He prioritizes self-care, making time for activities that nourish his body, mind, and soul, and remains acutely aware of his own needs, ensuring that he does not overextend himself in ways that compromise his integrity or diminish his well-being. He understands that by honoring his own boundaries, he is not only protecting himself, but also setting a positive example for others, encouraging them to value their own boundaries and to prioritize their own well-being. By standing firm in his commitments, by recognizing his limits, and by refusing to overcommit, he fosters healthier relationships that are built on honesty, respect, and a mutual understanding of each other's needs. A high-value man understands that it is better to say no when necessary, to decline a request that would compromise his own well-being, than to agree out of obligation, to overextend himself, and to ultimately deliver a half-hearted effort that leaves everyone feeling disappointed. This strength, this unwavering commitment to his own well-being and the clear communication of his boundaries, not only enhances his own life, but also sets a positive example for others, encouraging them to value their own boundaries, to prioritize self-care, and to build relationships that are based on mutual respect and genuine understanding. 12. Never forget your own worth, the intrinsic value of self. At the end of the day, when the external validation fades, when the fleeting pleasures subside, and when the challenges of life test your resilience, a high-value man knows his own worth, not as a matter of arrogance or conceit, but as a fundamental truth that is deeply ingrained within his being. He understands that his self-value is not contingent upon the opinions or actions of others, that it is not something that must be earned or validated by external forces. It is an intrinsic quality, a birthright that is inherent in every human being, regardless of their accomplishments, their possessions, or their relationships. It's essential to cultivate a deep and unwavering belief in your own worth, to recognize your inherent value as a human being, and to refuse to allow anyone, regardless of their position or influence, to make you feel lesser, unworthy, or incapable. The Stoics, in their profound understanding of human nature, firmly believed in the inherent strength of the individual, emphasizing that true power comes from within, from the cultivation of virtue, the mastery of one's emotions, and the unwavering commitment to living a life of purpose and meaning. Seneca, in his timeless wisdom, stated, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This principle serves as a constant reminder that your value is intrinsic, that it is not something that can be taken away from you by external forces, and that it should never be dictated by the opinions, judgments, or actions of others. A high-value man cultivates self-awareness, taking the time to understand his own strengths and weaknesses, his own values and beliefs, and his own purpose in life. He cultivates self-respect, treating himself with kindness, compassion, and unwavering belief in his own potential. He ensures that he stands firm in his beliefs, that he advocates for his own needs, and that he recognizes his own contributions to the world. By internalizing this understanding of his own worth, by grounding his sense of self-value in the intrinsic qualities of his being, he can navigate relationships, career challenges, and the inevitable setbacks of life with confidence, resilience, and an unwavering sense of purpose. Ultimately, knowing your worth empowers you to engage in healthy, balanced relationships, where you are treated with respect, appreciated for who you are, and valued for your contributions. It fosters an environment where respect and appreciation thrive, where you can be yourself, without the need to constantly seek validation or to compromise your own values. A high-value man embodies this self-assuredness, setting a standard for how he wishes to be treated and inspiring others to recognize their own value as well. The Stoic blueprint: living a life of value and purpose. Being a high-value man in today's complex and often chaotic world is not about accumulating wealth, achieving fame, or conquering the hearts of women. It is about living by a set of unwavering principles, standing firm in your values, remaining emotionally grounded in the face of adversity, and cultivating an inner strength that radiates outwards, inspiring those around you. By following these 12 rules, by internalizing the wisdom of Stoicism, you embody the very essence of a man who is in control of his own destiny, who is guided by reason and virtue, and who is committed to living a life of purpose and meaning. Remember, true strength doesn't come from controlling others, from dominating situations, or from seeking external validation. It comes from mastering yourself, from cultivating your inner resilience, and from living in accordance with your own values. Stay focused on your goals, stay strong in your convictions, and as always, practice the art of Stoicism, allowing its timeless wisdom to guide you on your journey to becoming the best version of yourself.